Okay, now we are on to book 3. Um, I don't think I ever drew anything on this one. Oh no, I think I did draw something on this, but it rubbed out over time, so I can't even see it. So I'm not even gonna put that up there. But yeah, this is book 3. This book here captures the time when I had just transitioned from living in London, on the tubes and everything, like traveling on the tubes with the previous book that I just showed you. This is when I had sort of just gotten to Cambridge, and I was struggling to find a job for a little bit, and then I managed to get a job in Jack Jones. I always used to call it Jack and Jones because it's a clothing shop called Jack Jones. I always called it Jack and Jones because there's a symbol in the middle of Jack and Jones, a symbol, that looks like an and, for lack of a better term. So, but one of my mates that I ended up working with a little bit later was like, Jack Jones. People call it Jack Jones. So, yeah. During that time, I was a little bit, I don't want to say depressed, but I just moved to this new city. I don't really have any new friends. I didn't have really that much going on there. All I was doing was traveling all the way to Cambridge because I was living on the outskirts of Cambridge, not like right in the heart of Cambridge. And yeah, so you're going to see a lot of dark imagery in this one. But yeah, I was able to sort of draw my feelings. I think throughout all these books, that's what I've been drawing. Like I've been drawing like how I felt during that time. And obviously I was always watching anime. I've always been watching anime. And yeah, I'm not sure what inspired a lot of this stuff, but I think I was feeling a bit strange about being in this new city, and this was my way of sort of dealing with it. So first page. So this book here actually was my attempt at sort of creating a story through my artwork, and yeah, obviously it requires a certain kind of skill to really draw a story through like in a comic book style or in a graphic novel style. Like you really need a clear and coherent idea before you start doing it. I was just doing it as whatever because I wanted to try something different. So let's start with the first page. Oops. Oh, jeez, shambles. First page. It's called Out of the Darkness, and then you've got like a skull flying, like I don't know what to call this really, but yeah, this creature here, this being, is flying out of somewhere. This is very disproportionate as well, kinda. In this book, if anything, the sketches were more rough in this book than I think my previous one. I think that's a reflection of how I felt. I just felt like rough, and I think there was a bit of chaos within me as well during that time. Solipsism. Okay, so this one, I'll show you both of these images here. So we've got two sort of guardians here, one with a sword and one with a shield. The idea behind this book was, you'll see it as we move forward. So that that skull that you saw on the first page. He meets these two. Essentially, this is his perspective. He's looking at these two, and he engages in battle with these two, and sort of claims their powers with these lions here. Like he defeats them too. He kicks one in the in the face. Yeah, he kicks one in the face, and yeah, just murks the other one. And takes their powers. And then from that, he sort of breaks into a new space, screams, "Oh yeah," kind of, and then he pulls himself into that new space, right? But in that new space that he had entered samsara, right? Which is a Buddhist concept. But anyway, so this godlike being here that controls time looks at him. He kneels down, and I think he is transformed during that time. During that time with that god of time, wow. Yeah, he's forced to transform and gain a new perspective and a new look, essentially. So that's him. That's him transforming, sort of shedding his previous form, and then this is his new form. I think this was like my subconscious sort of manifesting. So I think I was looking at my situation in this new space in Cambridge and sort of manifesting a change within myself. Or maybe this was a reflection of the change of me being in Cambridge. And then this one is him still changing. I mean, I think during this I was able to gain a new found respect for comic artists because they draw the same thing over and over again, and it takes a certain kind of skill to make those characters coherent and the same in the in the way that you draw them. Yeah. So yeah, I was learning that. So yeah, he transforms from this to this. Again, very dark imagery. So he almost became like darker than, because he's got a skull on his chest there. He's become darker and more powerful than this creature here. This creature here is basically human with wings and a bit of a skull face, right? Face of a skull. But I think this whole idea actually was inspired by this other painting that I did. I might show you at some point. I'll put it in my YouTube shorts. So it became this dark, like demon thing. I didn't do a good job of the horns there because they're like touching. They weren't meant to be touching. Anyway, once he had acquired this new power, he sort of traversed the space he was in, and then he found like gaps in the universe, I guess. And then in this frame here, he's flying towards one of those spaces in the universe, and yeah, he enters this new realm with the owl, and I don't know. So I called this like chapter "Love and Wisdom." So obviously you can see the owl there. He's got another human heart inside it, because I don't think our hearts are like that. It's a giant heart, and the owl obviously gazes into his soul, right? As owls do. So he encounters the owl. The owl gives him wisdom or knowledge, and then he moves on. And then he moves into this new plane called collective consciousness. I don't know. To be honest, with the chapter titles, I don't know what I was thinking. I just wrote down a lot of stuff that I thought were cool at the time. There was no real, like, I think there was some idea, some logic behind all of it, but I can't tell you what that is now. I don't even know. But anyway, he enters this new space with these two lovers, and obviously with the wolf as well in the back there. So I think in this situation here, he had a choice either to try and fight and destroy the space that he was in, or become one, like learn from these creatures. Obviously, I think depending on your choices, you will either win or lose in this life. So this is just like a random mandala drawing. Mandalas are very popular at this time when I was doing this, and obviously I can see why. I think they were very attractive, very pretty. This one is also a little bit off as well in terms of how symmetrical it could be. But anyway, with this one, I actually wrote the date on this one. So this was in September, a few weeks after my birthday, a couple of weeks actually, in 2016. Yeah, I didn't actually title a lot of these, but yeah, I think we moved from London to Cambridge around 2015. That was after I'd left uni. I'd got back from uni in 2015. So our main character here, decides to sit and reflect, right, with the wolf and those two, that couple, and he begins to change. Like many moons pass, I guess. I think that was the idea behind all those moons there. He sits with them. I didn't do a good job of the environment, to be honest. I'm not very good with my environments as an artist, I can't lie. He sits there, they watch him and teach him to meditate, and he learns. And then from that, he is reborn once again. He starts to develop wings there, and then this is the character he becomes. Yeah. And I called this one Chapter 5 Rebirth because he was reborn again. The whole idea with all this was he was constantly being reborn, constantly changing. I think at the time I didn't have enough idea, because the story is not about fighting, right? So I don't want to draw him just constantly fighting and being defeated and defeating these characters and all that, because that would have made it so much longer as well. Like one of my flaws back in the day, maybe even now, is that I get bored too easily, right? And if I'm constantly drawing characters fighting, that means I'm gonna have to draw so many different movements and stuff like that. So that's why I think I did not draw that as much. And this is a very random story, I think, because he evolves into this new form, and then after his rebirth, he is like he is summoned by this character here who's like reading books or scriptures or whatever, and is just in his own space with the sharks and everything. He's summoned into that book. That's him there. I tried to give him like a little symbol on his shoulder there to make it look like, you know, to remind people that's him. Because these images aren't all that coherent, to be honest. And in this page here, I called it chapter 6. Yeah, chapter 6. I don't know why I used Roman numerals there. Learning from scholars. So he learns from this being that summoned him. I think the theme of this story was learning. Like, you must keep learning from every experience. That's what I was trying to do. And then in here, our main character decides to sit with the book and starts to learn. And then these hands sort of put him in like an air bubble, kind of like kind of like Aang in that scene in the Avatar when he encases himself in ice, right? Just before he gets encased in ice, he does this air bubble. And then another mandala there with a bunch of animals. I thought this one was pretty cool. I actually ended up putting this on a t-shirt, and a few people were like, "Oh, hey, I like the t-shirt, man. You should start selling them, blah blah blah." So that was one of the earlier stages of my artwork on garments. But obviously, running a clothing brand and all that is a little bit more complex than I assumed. It's not just about having a good design, you know. There's a few more logistics in it. So essentially, our main character is encased in that little orb in the center there. And then eventually, he emerges from that orb. Yeah. He emerges from that orb as a completely different being, right? He doesn't even have that little mark on his shoulder anymore. So, again, another evolution, another change. Another evolution, another change into a new space. Into a new space where he meets this woman and her 3 cheetahs, right? At first, whenever he meets characters, or Pandora's box, I don't know, Pandora's box. I call this chapter Pandora's box because this woman's got a box right there. There's always a bit of hostility when he meets these characters, but he always somehow makes the right choice. He always makes the right choice and ends up getting close to those characters. So obviously he gets close to the woman there, and the cheetahs obviously stand down and they just watch as as Pandora's box closes in on them. Essentially, that was the idea behind that. a lot of these artworks, I didn't detail them to the point where it would have been really good, like would have been more detailed, but that's whatever. And then this is chapter 8, I guess. So that last chapter was 7. Within Pandora's box, our character, this guy here on the right, obviously you can still see the fur from how he was before. He begins to evolve with the woman, and their love sort of chains them together, so to speak. That's the representation of the chains and the rose in the middle here. The rose represents love. The chains represent their attachment to each other because of their love. And of course, she was able to change him. Like most women, they're able to change their man if they spend enough time with him, you know? And eventually, like my previous book, their love creates a whole entire world, you know? They spend all this time together, they create a whole world. Pretty straightforward there. Like all of this is meant to be like sort of like spiritual space. It's not like a real space. That's why I don't draw a lot of stuff in the backgrounds, because spiritual space is ephemeral and it can be whatever you want it to be, really. And it will be too complex to try and draw backgrounds as well, because I always have these ideas and then I want to move on to the next idea once I've reached a certain point. So drawing backgrounds would obviously take way longer. That's my own personal laziness, I guess. So over time, you know, they evolve, they're still in love, they look after their world that they've created. And then, but unfortunately, this is what, chapter 9? This is chapter 9, where our main character, even though they've created this world and they've loved each other all this time, our main character here has to move on. He has to transcend this space. Every time I told girls about this page here, they're always like, oh, that's so sad, because he's leaving the woman, you know. But it's just the way it is. In this story anyway. So he transcends into a new space with a hoodie this time. That's him, I guess. I don't think that was his final form here. I was going to do more with this. And then I thought, nah, you know what? And then this is his new form. So after he left his woman, he entered the Zodiac, the chapter 10 of the Zodiac, right? So that's him in all of his glory, in his long coat. And then he begins to learn about the cosmic zodiacs, right? Starting with the Capricorn, I guess. No particular order, but with the. So yeah, this was an opportunity for me to just start learning and drawing the zodiacs. Yeah, I've always wanted to draw like the zodiacs, and this was an opportunity to just do that for a reason. So we started off with the Capricorn, then the Sagittarius. There's the symbol there. I tried to make it seem as if every time he learns one, and then he absorbs a new one, and then learns another one. So Sagittarius into the Scorpio. There's the Scorpio there, and that's him adapting and learning that. Then there's the Libra, you know, learning that too. Then straight onto the Virgo. That's my sign right there. The lady Virgo. Chapter 12, I guess, adaptation. So he's continuously learning. There's the Leo and the lobster, also known as a Cancer. Yeah, the lobster Cancer. And then during his learning, because I think what happened here is I was getting bored of the zodiacs. I was like, all right, okay, enough of the zodiacs. During his learning, he's interrupted by this random character here. So this is our character. Obviously, he's using those cheetahs that he acquired from his lady ages ago. Oh, phone is about to die, so we will show you a couple more pages and then that'll be it for this video. So yeah, I called this one the broken halos, right? Because our character here, in all of his style, has got some broken halos, like on top of his head and behind him, right? And he's got his own like tiger there with broken halo. This was just a random hostile character because I think the idea of this wasn't like a reflection of my own personal life necessarily. It was just ideas I was playing with. And I was gonna draw all the zodiacs in his halo here as well. In our main character's halo right there. I just never got around to it. But yeah, this random character attacks him, right? You know, he sicks his saber-toothed tiger onto him, and he's like, "Come on, then, let's fight." For no reason, really. Because sometimes in life, random people, random events will come at you, and they will mean to cause you harm for no reason sometimes. So, okay. So yeah, what happens is they start fighting. They start duking it out. You know, just, yeah. It's a little bit chaotic, I can't lie. Even I don't really know what's happening. But yeah, what happens during their fights is, because they're both like spiritual beings, they begin to sort of merge. That's what this yin and yang thing is. Like during their fight, they start to merge. And then, because in a lot of spiritual battles, the beings that are fighting end up merging. Like if you watch a lot of anime, there's always some kinds of fusions or mergings that happen, that take place. So they fight and then they merge into this being here. I call this being harmonic convergence. I don't know why. I think maybe it's because I saw The Legend of Korra during this time. I don't know if it was out then, or I just liked the term harmonic convergence. So yeah, their harmonies merged together and they became this being here. That's why he's got the yin and yang sign in the center of his chest. And yeah. Alright. This is a lot. So I'm going to end it there. That was chapter 14. Right before everything else happens. Again, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I know these little videos aren't like the most entertaining, even for me as I'm making them. They are cool and I like this, but it's very quiet in here, so I'll try and put some music or something on these videos moving forward. But yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and yeah.